Okay, so now that we have our 3 drop cleaners, obviously I want to get our 4th that we can't get from the engineering, the see the side. Now, there's 2 ways of getting the see the side. You either do Cabbage, Facepunch, Bonanza, which is a minigame, or you do player on farms, and I think I'm gonna opt for the first one since it's an easier grind. So here we are, and if we go to rewards here, as you can see, you can buy a see the side. So yeah, it's a pretty easy minigame, and why not? Why the... Okay, so it seemed to have a bit of an issue here that I didn't account for. I had no idea you can like have items in your inventory, but okay. I'm gonna try dying maybe? So you always keep them on that. Fuck. Okay, so I did not expect this to be a thing. I never thought the minigame actually required you to have just no items, and you always keep these ones on death. So essentially we have 3 options here. Either A, I just redo the engineering to buy the items. B, I do Slayer, which is what we're going to do this episode. Or C, we all collectively pretend I never bought the items from the engineering and I temporarily store them in this special container that is made to keep your items. So obviously out of everyone I'm gonna choose D. We're gonna do player on farm. So I'm really good at planning stuff, and I realized that you need 17 farming to actually start POF and like 20 construction or something along the lines to build the places where they're gonna be, so I also cannot do this. So with that not being able to hold our items because they are always kept on death, and without being able to do player on farms, essentially I just decided to redo the engineering. I mean, look, I know it sounds horrible, but ultimately I kinda need engineering anyway, and yeah, I would feel cheap to just have my items on the bank. I think that a lot of the things when it comes to this type of accounts are the growing pains of realizing that the fucking minigame doesn't allow you to bring any items in for some odd fucking reason, even though it holds an item that is actually pretty fucking important for your account. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna essentially just destroy these items and do the engineering again. We'll be earning another 1.6 million XP. At least this time it should go way faster than before, because we already have a lot of setups and we already have a lot of floors. Okay, so we should have all of the tokens that we need. Exactly, 168,000. So now, before I actually buy the items, I'm gonna go to the minigame and actually get the item first to see the side, and then I'll come back and I'll buy the things, and then we can get into the episode. So we're pretty much done with the grind. It took us like 2 hours, so yes, I essentially just had to repeat the engineering grind 15 hours just so I could get an item that took 2, but yes, here we go. See the scythe? Essentially that's the same thing as herbicide but for, well, seeds. And give it to me. There we go. We have now see the scythe, and now we gotta go and buy the other 2 as well. Okay, so here we are, and give me a bone crusher. Yes. An herbicide, yes, and a charming imp, yes, finally, now we got all 4, and we'll get the gold accumulator in the future, distant future, but someday, who knows. But yes, now that we have all 4, we can finally get into the main point of this episode. As I've alluded to earlier, the objective of this episode is actually to do Slayer. Why? Well, I like my inventory space, and currently I am missing 4 of them because of the drop cleaners. Thankfully, with the invention of the Toolbelt, the drop cleaners can actually be attached to the Toolbelt. The problem is that they cost 500 Slayer points each, so we need to do Slayer to buy the ability to attach these to the Toolbelt. The thing is, before I start doing Slayer, I need to do smoking kills. The reason for that is because when you finish this quest, one of the rewards is that it doubles the amount of Slayer points you get per task, so I kinda need to get on that before I actually start doing Slayer. A problem with that is that I need 35 Slayer to actually do the quest, as it is one of the requirements. Now, before I get on the Slayer grind, one thing that I wanna do is actually get myself a spring cleaner, which is sort of a 5th drop cleaner, and I'll explain later on why, but for that, we need 43 Invention. For us to train Invention, we're gonna need a lot of components. And for us to get components, I'm gonna be doing shopping runs, which means that I need a lot of GP. So to recap, I need to get GP, so I can get shop runs, and so I can get components, so I can get 43 Invention, so I can get my spring cleaner, get 35 Slayer, do smoking kills, and then start going on the Slayer grind. Okay, so here's the deal. I did my first shop run with the money I had, just to have an understanding of how much money I'm going to need. But after being 300k down, I decided to actually not do this, primarily because looking at the state of my account, to me is actually easier to get the components myself, as opposed of getting the GP to buy the components. So I don't have many ways of training Invention, so my 2 primary ways of training Invention are gonna be disassembling, and I think I'm gonna be doing weapon gizmos. I don't need all of them, but I think that it is overall just better to do. It's really good XP, it does cost a lot of materials, but that's the thing. For the materials, I think I'll be doing maybe mithril items, maybe Addy, probably mithril though, because with mithril items, mithril 200s will give me both blade parts and strong components, and then crafted parts I can just disassemble the bars themselves. I actually want to test that out to see how it actually goes, because again, I don't really have an easy way of making GP right now, and if I need 300k every single day just for components, I might not get far. So I'm gonna test that one out, and I'll come back with the results. Nothing seems going according to plan, but essentially the main way that people train Invention in this game is by augmenting weapons and armors, using them while you are killing stuff, and then once they accumulate enough XP, you just disassemble them or siphon them for the XP that they give in Invention. One of the major issues with that is you can only augment stuff tier 70 plus, I'm pretty sure, with some exceptions here and there. We don't have a tier 70 weapon, and to make matters worse, even if we did, I can't use it as I don't have the levels to actually use tier 70 stuff. So we're gonna have to go a little bit of a different route. Instead of getting 43 Invention, I'm actually only gonna aim for 22. And the way I'm gonna go about it is by getting, first of all, Divine Charges. Divine Charges will give us actually a nice amount of XP, and essentially what Divine Charges give you is Divine Energy, which is the stuff that you need to be able to use augmented stuff. Essentially, just like how, for example, in old school the Scythe uses Blood Runes, here you use Divine Charges every time you are using an augmented item. The second thing I'm actually gonna be using in order to actually get my XP is gizmos, both weapon and armor gizmos. Essentially, these gizmos give XP when crafting, and once you research a perk, they give extra XP. So they are going to be the main way that I'm actually gonna use to train Invention. Now the problem with that is they need a lot of components. So in order for me to, instead, just going for GP and then doing shop runs, I thought it would be faster and easier, honestly, if I just crafted my own items and got the components myself. So I will be actually doing mithril plate bodies and mithril two-edged swords, as well as thieving some cakes. These 3 items will give me all the components that I need for both weapon gizmos, armor gizmos, and in the case of cakes, they will give me components to put perks on the gizmos, as well as crafted parts which I need for both gizmos. Now you might be wondering, why mithril items out of every item in the game? Well, let me explain to you junk chance. Junk chance is essentially the chance that you have of getting junk every time you disassemble an item. Every item has a chance of getting junk. Sometimes the chance is 0%, but essentially every time you disassemble it, you will roll a number. So let's say that you have an item that has a 50% junk chance. Every time you disassemble an item, that item specifically, you will essentially have a 50-50% chance of getting either junk or a component. So let's say that you roll a number between 1 and 100. If it lands between 1 and 50, you get junk. If it lands between 51 and 100, you get a component. And then the game essentially goes and rolls which component you get from 1 to 100 again, as different items give different components. The lower level an item is, the higher the junk chance it gives. For example, bronze items give 98% junk chance, I think, while banite items give 2% junk chance. Now, why am I not doing banite if they give way less junk than, let's say, mithril, for example? Well, that's because essentially Jagex wanted junk chance to prevent players from grinding low-level items that were super easy to obtain, then ended up being a lot of material. So as a result, you just have a lot of junk chance to those items. The thing is, what matters for us is not the junk chance specifically, but rather the materials per hour. And to simply put, while banite has less junk chance, it's actually slower for me to mine the banite ore and make it into items and then disassemble than it is mithril. Mithril is way easier to obtain and way faster to craft, which in turn gives me way more materials per hour, because while I have a higher chance of getting junk, I also can craft way more items that ends up giving me way more components than banite. So mithril ends up being that nice middle ground between being fast to get, but having a nice junk chance. So before we start with our smithing grind, I kinda need to get our ore box back, because that will be kinda useful, so that's exactly what I'm gonna be doing right now. It shouldn't be too hard to get. The cool thing about training the engineering is that now I can just have easy access to mithril through the dungeon next to the mining guild entrance. And there we go, we got our mithril box back, so we can now finally actually start doing this entire thing. Okay, 22 Invention, that is actually a pretty big milestone, or pretty decent one, because we finally have access to skilling tools, augmented skilling tools. More specifically, the Ematron is the one I'm actually gonna go for. So essentially it's an hammer that, as you do smithing, will accumulate XP, and as a result you can disassemble it for a lot more XP. I'll keep doing mithril items for extra gizmos because it's just extra XP. But at level 20 we also unlocked something really good, which is when you reach level 17 gathering skills in Runescape 3, you unlock the ability to start gathering skilling fragments, and the skilling fragments can then be made into these elite outfits. And I've had the fragments for the mining elite outfit for quite a while, which is not showing up for some reason. Okay, there we go. So the golem, I have all of the fragments and I can just make them. And now, as you can see, oh, I got an achievement, but yeah, so we wear it, and as we can see, you get 5% more critical chance, more opportunities and whatnot. So just, you know, couple of benefits. Okay, so this hammer should actually get us to level 43 Invention, finally, and I did end up doing Banite because the XP from the hammer itself is actually related to the smithing XP you gain. So the more smithing XP you gain, the more item XP you gain on your hammer, so yeah, Bane is the best thing I have at the moment. And on top of that, Wizard Mind Bomb because I don't have level 55 magic. Oh, look at that, sweet GP. Yeah, I didn't realize you could actually alch Banite items for some nice amount of GP, but yeah, you could. Anyway, it wouldn't have been faster, but yes, let's hopefully 559. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Okay, so this should be it. Thank you, game. Holy shit, fucking having to get an extra 20k XP. I just wasted GP because I wasn't gonna mine for it again. But yes, Finally, we unlocked our spring cleaner. So I'm gonna discover the blueprint, and then I'll come back. Okay, so there we go. We need 300 simple parts, which we already have. We need tensile parts, flexible parts, and precise components. So I'm gonna get them. I think you can get all of this from the free bow with the guy on the Port Serum Pier, so I'm probably gonna end up doing that. And the thing is, yeah, I'm gonna need several components and tensile parts. These only come from scimitars. I'm not gonna need too many, but yeah, so I'm gonna get all of the components and then I'll be right back once I actually have them. Okay, wow, that took way too long because getting materials really rough, but this should be it. I think I have everything. So if we get to combat support, there we go. Our spring cleaner finally. Pretty big unlock, but it's not all because we also need the springs. As this will be used to level up and actually enable what I wanted to enable. So actually, let's talk about what the spring cleaner actually does. So the spring cleaner has a lot of modes to it that are useful, but the one that we're most interested on is the auto disassembler mode. So we actually need to upgrade our spring cleaner to unlock it, which is why we made 600 springs, so we could upgrade it to unlock that mode. That mode, all it does is automatically disassembles salvage drops from monsters. Salvages are basically what monsters got in their drop tables after the mining and smithing rework. They are equivalent to old armor and weapons. The best part about that mode is that disassembling stuff doesn't actually cost springs to use, contrary to IALC mode for example, which means that given the big grind that we're about to do and throughout the lifespan of the account, we're gonna be able to accumulate a lot of Invention components for free. And yeah, now that we have our spring cleaner, it's time that we get the 35 Slayer. So I just got Premiere and I'm here at my bank with all of our bank spaces that we don't actually need. But yes, let's actually do the quest. And the first quest I'm gonna do is Violet is Blue and Violet is Blue 2. They were supposed to be the Christmas event quests, but then they just stayed in the game and they are actually pretty resourceful. So pretty easy quests that give really good XP. What the fuck? I mean, these aren't snowballs, these are like snow boulders. Oh, it counts anyway. And there we go, quest completed. With rain for some reason. Okay, so I think that these are flat XP lamps. And I'm gonna put them on Slayer. Ooh, 1000 XP each. Can you not appear, please? Level 9. Level 13. And level 16 and 900 total as well. Not too bad, honestly, for a simple quest. Now let's do the sequel. Okay, Violet is Blue 2. Oh cool, I have a new follower. Just follows you around. Well, that's an interesting Christmas tradition, isn't it? Oh, there we go, another quest done. Pretty fun quests. But more importantly, the XP. And I'm gonna get a lot of ooh, 4,000! Oh, that puts us up to 23. 28, and the last lamp. 31, wow. 2 quests, 31. What the fuck is he? Oh, there we go, just spawned into existence. There we go, enter the abyss. There we go, another quest completed, and the next one is global diplomacy. Oh, and of course we got a nice few runecrafting levels, that's 14 runecrafting. Okay, here we go. There we go, another quest completed. Easy 5 quest points, and the next one is Lost Tribe. I guess I had never done that before. Wait, to remove the M logo. Aw, that's sad. And that is the Lost Tribe completed, which means that we have all the requirements for Wanted, except I need 33 quest points, and I'm missing like 2 quest points, so I'm gonna do another quest really quick. Does it just keep fading? Because I came from the cutscene, the background just keeps fading. And because I haven't clicked yet, I don't allow... Yeah, it just keeps fading. Okay, so since I need quest points, and this is one of the quests, one of the requirements to do smoking kills, might as well work on it as well. Yeah, I mean, it truly was nothing, not like we were showing completely. Have I never visited Rainer Market? I'm just getting the most basic stuff doing quests. That's a jail. I don't know why I'm smacking my fists together, I have like 2 strength. Wait, so I can just don't teleport with you to Alcarith? Okay, I guess. And there we go, another quest completed, so now we can do Wanted. Let's do Wanted. You can just sit on top of him. Look. Is that supposed to be a thing? Doesn't look good. That was like the scariest moment for Hardcore Ironman. Remember when that was like the coolest thing in any quest ever? Oh, of course he's weak. How convenient to have this really powerful mage just be weak when you actually fight him. Is this stuff bashing me? He's staff bashing. He forgot his runes, I guess, or spent them all doing ice barrages. Happens. I'm just gonna say that it's pretty irresponsible to just have an adventure go after a supposedly really powerful mage just to ascend the ranks of the White Knights. I mean, they're all level 35, so... You know, maybe these quests aren't that realistic after all. That puts us at 33, and we have like 2 levels to go, so I'm gonna do a mini quest that's gonna give us some XP lamps. That is pretty easy. And with that mini quest completed, we can use our lamps on Slayer. I think they scale with levels, so that one was 508, level 34. Okay, that wasn't enough to put us over 134. Oh well, I'll just use a big lamp. Oh, I could have just used 1 big lamp. Anyway, that's 35 Slayer, and I got all the requirements for smoking kills. Now all I need is some of the pre-quests, and then we can start on our grind. Also, I'm gonna be using this lamp on farming. Yes, level 8. I know it seems to be useless, but out of all my low-level skills, farming is the one that benefits to being higher level, because I have the seed scythe, and the seed scythe only crushes seeds that you have the level to actually crush, so the higher farming level, the more farming XP that I'll actually give. So we're gonna start doing the pre-quests, and I'm in the raft is the first one. Why is there just a random cat? There's just a random cat. Wow, Hosen took a beating. And there we go, another quest then. So next up is Gertrude's cat. Very quick and easy quest. And we got a kitten, which we will name Bobbert. Bobbert the First. Because definitely there will be more than one. Hey, we also got level 12 cooking from the lamp reward. We had like level 2 cooking, so hey, 3 levels. Okay, so I bought some Batwing armor because there's some fights going on that are gonna require me to have more than just tier 1 weapon. And what the fuck is this, Jagex? Like, I can 100% tell you that the male armor does not look like this. I don't know why there was a need for this, but I would love them to actually be consistent with their armor. So, you know, if the female model is gonna look like this, maybe the male model should also look like that, or, you know, the female model should also look like the male model. This is a medieval game, not a you know. Anyway, the point of this clip is also that I'm about to do something that you probably never saw anyone do. Exactly. I'm about to just transmute some oak logs into willow logs. Yep, I bet no one has ever done that before, but I need a willow log for the quest and I don't have the woodcutting level. So we're on our way to do Ixthlaren's Little Helper, and why is there a fire? Oh, okay. I was like, why is there a fire? But yeah, so after that we just need to do smoking kills. And there's penguins in the desert for some reason. Wait, what? Wait. Oh, penguins that ran away from you. Oh, I can now live my dream of terrorizing penguins. Right, enough distractions, let's actually do this. Oh hey, like 2006 effect, that's amazing. The fuck was that cinematic? I didn't even see anything. Okay, wow, that puzzle just was super laggy for some reason. I don't know why Jagex doesn't fix this, but okay. Also, why does this door not have the click option on top of it, only on the bottom? Well, that wasn't much of a final battle, right? Oh, 32k, let's go! And we got it, so now all we need to do is smoking kills. Oh, and a few levels. Oh wait, a couple of levels actually. So we got 23 with cutting, a couple of agility levels, 4 agility levels, 8 with cutting levels, and 1 thieving level. Not too bad. Okay, so I think I kinda lost the footage for the quest I was doing, but I'm currently doing smoking kills, and I've died to the boss like 3 times, and I decided to do a little bit of an upgrade. If I can show it. Game. Okay, there we go. As you can see, I went and bought mystics because apparently I thought it was just in the magic guild I could buy them. Apparently no, the Champions Guild also has them, so a little bit of an upgrade, especially the main weapon, because that is where the accuracy is. I also went to get a cape and an amulet of magic, and I even exhausted the Brimhaven food shop, so I had to go and get from Mascab. So yeah, a bit rough at the moment. Okay, those screams that do 1k damage are so stupid, wow. Okay, finally. Wow, that took a long time. Also, that super magic pot that I got as a drop on the last quest really came in clutch. So yeah, finally it is done. There we go, quest completed, 5000 Slayer points. Increased Slayer points for completing quests, or Slayer tasks, not quests. And we got 37 Slayer. So we can finally start Slayer, or rather, I have something else to do first. So the next thing I want to do is actually Lost City, and for that I need 36 with cutting, so I'll see you once I get 36. Okay, there we go, 36 with cutting, so now we have all the levels for Lost City. Look how many rats are here. I have never seen that many in the same place. Oh, right. Well, that's a shame. I got all of those items and now I need to buy them again. At least I got to keep my Amulet of Magic. Okay, Runescape 3 is fantastic because you cannot use your spells even if you have the runes. You just can't. You need a weapon. Well, I just realized the tree is blinking. I have no idea why, but okay. There we go, our dream and stuff. And that's the city completed. We now can access the scenarios. And also one last thing before we actually get into Slayer. Bobbert the First. We have to release Bobbert the First. Unfortunately, I kinda need the inventory space, and I'm not gonna need Bobbert. So Bobbert the First, you are a good help. You don't need to be mean. Like, you know, whatever. Thanks for helping. And now, let's actually get into Slayer. Finally, let's actually get into how I am going to tackle Slayer. Now, the way I'm going to tackle Slayer is by doing something called boosting. Boosting Slayer or boosting Slayer points is a method that has been around for a while, and in Runescape 3 was actually harder to pull off until Jacqueline was introduced into the game. Now, to explain to you what boosting Slayer points is, every time you finish a Slayer task, you will get an amount of Slayer points. Depending on the difficulty of the task, you get more points. So, higher level Slayer Masters that give way harder tasks and in bigger quantities will give you way more points. Lower level Slayer Masters will give you easier tasks and lower quantities. So in this case, what we want to do is use Jacqueline, which will give us 1 point per task, but most of her tasks are super simple. The max amount of monsters that she will award is 30, which is incredibly easy and fast to do, and usually she awards monsters like cows or goblins and things of the sorts. She also gives you a lot of monsters that are in the crypt in Lambridge, the reward from the Blood Pact quest, which is why we did that quest last time. Most of these monsters are incredibly low level, they have incredibly low hit points, which means that in order for us to complete 9 tasks, it's incredibly easy and fast. And then every 10th task we actually go to the highest level Slayer Master that we can actually use, which currently is Masna. Masna will give us 20 points per 10th task, and it will give us 50 points per 50th task. Essentially, you complete 9 tasks in Jacqueline, and then in the 10th task you get it from Masna, and then another 9 tasks from Jacqueline, and another task from Masna, and so on and so forth. This way you actually can grind a lot of Slayer points per hour, even at my low level. Hey, that's an upgrade. Of course we're gonna go with Cabbage. Hey, cape upgrade. I mean, the staff is also an upgrade, so gimme. The biggest upgrade though is a new Slayer Master. Before we wrap up everything, I went out of my way to do the clues that, well, I could, and we got a couple, so let's open them and just see what we get. But finally, let's actually get to the real thing, which is... And there we go, 2000 points just like that, and now we have the ability to save ourselves some good inventory slots.